Hey everybody, we have a special video for you this week, and we're going to be making Beet Kvass. And if you don't know what Beet Kvass is, this is one of those fermented food drinks that is an absolute miracle. So stay tuned, I'm going to tell you everything you need, and you're going to be making Beet Kvass before you know it. Okay, let's get started. So when making Beet Kvass, there's a list of things you're going to need. First of all, you're going to need some beets. And for this recipe, we're only going to use about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of beets, which is about 4 or 5 medium-sized beets. And you just want to lightly clean them off. Get rid of any leaves, and don't scrub them too hard, because the skin of the beet has a naturally occurring bacteria that's part of that LAB bacteria family, the lactic acid bacteria. And we want to use that. You're also going to want to use some salt. We have about 1.5 tablespoons of salt. And we have a 1 gallon container, glass container with a lid. Right now in the background, I've got about 2 cups of boiling water, and I'm pouring that into my measuring cup right now. Because before I get started, I want to go ahead and dissolve my salt. And so what we're going to do now is we're just going to put the salt in the water so that it can dissolve and cool down a little bit before we actually have to use it. And like I said, for about 1 gallon worth of product, I'm using roughly about 1.5 tablespoons, or what would be about 4.5 teaspoons. And we just want to make sure we dissolve that quite well. And you're going to be blown away as to how easy this is. And I'll tell you, there's some extraordinary articles on Beet Kvass that are just incredible. This is one of those products that is fermented, so you're going to get your probiotics. The probiotics within this consume the sugars of the beets, and so you're not getting a sugary drink, but you're getting a very rich lactic acid laden bacteria drink, and it's extraordinary. It heals the liver, it cleanses your blood, it rehydrates you like an electrolyte drink. What I'm doing right here is this is one of those stoppers that keep oxygen from going back into the top. It's absolutely not critical, but it sure does make for a better product. So if you don't happen to have one of those, I wouldn't worry about it. And right now we're just cutting up our beets. The thing you don't want to do is cut your beets up too tiny. Right now, the smallest that we've found that we can cut them up is roughly about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. And because if you cut them up too tiny, you're going to end up with beet alcohol. And you don't want to do that. And so what we're trying to do is keep your beets nice and chunky. Be sure not to cut them any less than 1/2 inch, but you can make them as big as you want. And all we're going to do right now is we're going to scoop this into our empty 1 gallon glass jar. Now remember, we had about 2 cups of water that we went ahead and mixed our salt with. We dissolved our salt with at the very beginning. And so here in a second, we're going to pour that right on top of these beets, so that we can mix it up all together. The reason we add a little bit of salt is to protect any kind of bad bacteria from growing. Lactic acid bacteria can grow relatively well in a 2% salt solution, and this is much lower than a 2% salt solution. This is actually probably a 0.5% salt solution, but I found that the amount of time given is sufficient so that you don't have to worry about any kind of bad bacteria. I'm going to right now I'm adding the salt solution that's been dissolved, and basically I'm just going to fill it up to the very top with regular filtered water. You can use regular water as long as it's not chlorinated. You just want to fill it up all the way to the top to where you have about an inch to the rim. Unlike sauerkraut, you don't need to stop, you don't need to push any of these beets down, and if some are floating, it's totally fine. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and put my stopper right on top. And this is just going to keep oxygen from going back into the unit. It's going to create a oxygen-free environment for the lactic acid bacteria to thrive. If you don't happen to have that, you know what I would do? I would put a coffee filter and then just very loosely cover the top so that you can breathe still. When is it ready? Well, you can start drinking it after about 3 days. But I personally like to leave it about 3 weeks, and you get a fuller, beetier product. When you give this product 3 weeks, you really allow that lactic acid bacteria to bloom and to grow, and you get a lot of really subtleties, and the bacteria that just develops inside of it's incredible. And so anywhere from 3 days to 3 weeks, you can start drinking it. This is what it's going to look like if you do wait 3 weeks. And what you basically want to do is you just want to bottle it all up, and leave you a little bit so that you can start a next batch, but pour it in your favorite glass of nugget ice. If you happen to have a Sonic nearby, go pick you up a little bit, or if you happen to have an Opal machine, it'll make some for you. There's so much to tell about this product that I just simply don't have enough time. Do a quick Google search, read it for yourself, but your gut's going to love it, your youth is going to love it, you're going to have more energy, you're just going to overall feel great. So thanks for watching. I really do hope you get a chance to make this, and please click that logo in the top corner to subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos.